Live and in color.
Good evening. Welcome to January 12th, 2021, regular Selectmen's meeting. Looks like we have all the selectmen except for Ed Ganea present right now. We have the town manager, the town clerk, and
Town planner.
town planner. Nope, there's nobody I need to talk to. Let me get rid of a spam call. Please stand with me and salute the flag. I
Pledge allegiance
to the flag
To the flag
of the
United States of America,
United States,
to the republic for which it stands,
which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
nation,
indivisible,
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 and
with
justice
liberty,
for all.
justice for all.
Welcome to the new year. First order is the approval of the meeting minutes from December 22nd.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
As Mark was not there, so we have a motion and a second. Without further discussion, I'll go through the roll. Is Ken?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Myself is a yes, and Mark is an abstain, I'm assuming, since he wasn't there.
Right.
The first public comment is, we have no public comment. We have no public hearings. Reports of committees and department reports. We do have an Envision Berwick.
Hello, my name is James. I represent Envision Berwick. I'm just here to talk about, we're excited for this year. We got a new chair that's coming pretty soon. Pretty excited about that. I've been the de facto chair, which seemed like a lifetime appointment. And we have new members, new energy, and we're super excited to work with our new rec director and work with the rec commission on the rec master plan. And as always, we're looking for members. This is a great opportunity to get your feet wet and to learn about how to get involved with local government. I'm at planning@berwickmaine.org is my email, and I'm extension 124 at the town hall. Look forward to talking with everybody and working on some fun and awesome projects.
Thank you, James. We have no department reports. We have some appointments. We have some reappointments to the planning board. We have Dave Andreessen and Mike LaRue, both of current members. Dave is currently the chairman of the board. Since they're reappointments, we didn't request that they be here since they've already been through this process once. Does anybody have any questions concerning either one of them? No? Do I have a motion to reappoint Dave Andreessen to the planning board?
I'll make a motion to reappoint David Reese to the planning board.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. Is Ken?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. That 4-0. Now for Michael LaRue. Do we have a motion to reappoint?
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion?
Oh,
I'll go through the roll. Ken?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Mark?
yes.
And myself is a yes. I'll send our congratulations for another appointment to the salt mines.
I want to thank them for agreeing to get reappointed.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that helped Berwick, move along is the volunteers in town. These people do volunteer their time. They get a lot of harassment sometimes, but they're committed to Berwick, and they really want to make sure that things are done properly. So I'm really happy that they both agreed to continue on, and looking forward to many more years of working together. We have nothing under unfinished business. Is town manager report.
An update on the water project. We just heard from DHHS, the Drinking Water Program. We have offered up a design that we can take our backwash material, which contains at times lots of manganese, and not recycle it anymore. We're going to be able to dump it into the sewage system, and I have a contract with, I have to sign now that we got authorization from the state that we can do this. So hopefully that will be one step in the right direction to helping water quality. We have 5 people who have given us permission and signed the forms and got them into us. So we didn't get our $1.2 million approval, but we do have enough money in our operating budget to move on to the next phase, which is going on site and doing some test drilling. So I talked to the geologist today, and we're going to move forward with that, hopefully, and find some good wells. Once that's done, we will see what we need to do, which is an unknown right now, to get the water to the plant and set that up so it's a little bit better water quality. The money, the 1.2 million, DHHS, that was through them. They're going to distribute it to projects that do have approval, and I will be talking with them tomorrow to see what direction we can go and possibly get some money. I'm not sure, but it won't be a bond. So, and we hope to put that back on the ballot in June, so people have a better understanding of what that was all about and how it improve our water quality and be paid for by the users. We are in the final stages of putting the budget together for my end of it. We meet tomorrow to start talking to some of the department heads and their budgets they submitted. And then when we're all done with them, we are scheduled to bring the department heads in front of, with me, to the Board of Selectmen to go through it step by step. We're trying to hold the line as much as we can, and I think we'll do fine. Another thing that we're trying to do, James and I have talked about it, is setting up a workshop with the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board. James is going to reach out. I'm going to try to do it on an off Tuesday when we don't have a regular meeting, so everybody could be here. More than likely, it will be Zoom, a Zoom meeting for most of us. So plan on, that should be coming within the next 2 or 3 weeks. We'll have some dates solidified so we can move forward on that. That's all I have. I sent you budget reports up year to date. Do you have any questions on that? We're actually right where we should be at percentage-wise on the budget. The surprise and good surprise is that the revenue side still looks pretty healthy, but I'm waiting for the ball to drop in January and February when things slow down. But Lisa Vargas and I are watching it very closely, and we've asked department heads to slow down on spending as much as they can. So that's all I have.
Any questions of Steve? I guess not. All right, moving on, as we have no selectmen's communications, as we go to accounts payable. We have a payroll warrant number 40 for December 31st, 2020 for the amount of $67,906.29. We have a payroll warrant number 41 for January 7th, 2021 for the amount of $73,904.35. Account payable warrant 42 for January 12th, 2021 for the amount of $1,127,467.66. And we have a payroll warrant number 43 for January 14th, 2021 for the amount of $84,316. I'll make a motion that we pay our warrant, pay our bills. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. Is Ken,
Yes.
Noah,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
and myself is yes. 4-0. It brings us to new business. Under the new business is the January 5th, 2021 supplemental town meeting election results. As most people know, is none of the articles passed. We had a total of 273 votes cast, and I'll just make a few comments about what I saw, what I see here. Is in Article 2, we're adopting proposed amendments to the land use ordinance. Is these ordinances were put forth to help try to develop what's going on in town here. Is for many years we had the tannery site sitting across the street, decaying, turning into a toxic waste landmine, waiting to go off. And we finally entered into an agreement and got it cleaned up. And we finally got some people that are serious about developing it. And one of the things we've heard over and over and over that we need to help people develop this, we need to help businesses move in. So we're trying to do that is we look at what's going on, we see what's happening, and the planning board and the planning department, sits down and tries to craft these rules to help, not just the businesses trying to develop it, but the citizens of Berwick and the people of Berwick. A lot of the people that were complaining about the tannery, complaining that nothing was getting done, are the exact same people that voted no on this. So is it kind of shooting yourself in the foot. Is Article 3, that was to sell the old fire station. And again, is over the past few years, the selectmen and the town manager have been accused of buying properties and taking them off the public tax rolls. Is when we bought the old sober home to increase the parking and the land up at the recreation field, is we were attacked because we're taking property off the town tax records. So now we have a surplus building that the town no longer uses. We have interested parties, businesses in the wings wanting to buy it, but we can't sell it unless we have the authorization to sell it. So now we don't have that authorization, and the town's going to have to sit on that property, and hopefully in June we can convince enough people to give us the permission to do this. I don't usually go on the hate book pages, but leading up to this election, I was following some of the comments, and I was just flabbergasted at some of the things that people were saying. One of the justifications for not giving us the authorization was because if we had the authorization to do that, then we'd be able to sell the town hall, and nobody in Berwick could stop us. I can't believe, well, I won't even call it reasoning, because there is no reasoning there. Then Article 4 was to appropriate the sum of $1.2 million to address the problems we're having at the water treatment plant. And many of the same people that were on the Facebook pages telling people not to vote for this were the exact same people that last summer were complaining about the dirty water in Berwick and how it was a shame that Berwick had such dirty water and we should really do something about the dirty water in Berwick. So we talked with the engineers, and one of the best proposals that we had was to no longer rely on the river for our water, because every summer during the drought we get dirty water. So we were looking at trying to find some wells, some deep water wells, so we wouldn't have to rely on the river anymore. And yet, the exact same people that were complaining about the dirty water all of a sudden decided that we shouldn't put any money into the water treatment plant because we weren't going to spend the money wisely. So I just, this next summer, when the water turns dirty, because it will, because the water in the river is going to get low and the water is going to turn dirty, all the people in town on the water system that have dirty water can thank the people that voted no. The 183 people voted no because they didn't want you to have clean water. So I just want people to realize that we have property on our hands that we can't sell now. That could be put on the tax rolls. We have the potential for more dirty water in town. And we have potential of not being able to develop the property across the street. So I just want to thank everybody that came out to vote. And as we said, then June 6th is hopefully stronger minds will prevail. So that's all I have to say on it.
Tom,
Yes.
what do you think is the problem? Why do you think it went that direction?
I'll probably get a lot of crap for saying this, but a lot of these people, and like I said, I went on Facebook and the hate book pages and tracked this, is a lot of these people that were saying vote no were disappointed because their guy didn't win in November. And because they didn't win, they were going to vote no on everything. And
Tony, they're a small minority. It just seems we didn't have many people come out and vote.
no, we didn't. No, we
I
didn't.
think because of the COVID, maybe
We had a lot of people saying that they didn't know there was a vote until the day before, the day of, and that the town should have done a better job informing people about the vote, even though we talked about it for months leading up to it, and it's posted on the website. And, obviously there are signs outside town hall, but there's a lot of people complaining that we just didn't do a good enough job by getting the people informed that there was going to be a vote.
No, I think that's a good reason we gotta, by June 5th, we gotta do a better job of getting out, letting people know what we gotta do to get it done. I mean, I think that was a problem. People just didn't know. The people that did know, were typical people that are bummers anyway. So what are you gonna do?
273 voters turned out. That's more than we've had at some June 5th or June town meeting votes, where they're voting on a $30 million school budget or an $8 million town budget. So when I saw the numbers, I thought we might be in pretty good shape, because that sometimes on these off meetings or when there's no big controversy, people turn out. But
If I can address the, letting people know, is one of the things, and we get this every year, we get complaints that the town should send out mailers, the town should send out, notices. And we stopped doing that many years ago because it costs a lot of money to mail out everything. And if you go to the post office the day after the mailers, the bins are full of everybody just throwing everything away. So they don't even look at it. And, that's why we stopped mailing out the town reports, is we would go to the post office and see the garbage cans full of town reports. So I don't know, back years ago when we had, more local newspapers, more local TVs and radio stations and everything, people had a wider range of things. We have it on BCTV, we have it on the web page, it's on the Facebook pages, unless we stand outside. Well, James and I were talking about the town crier earlier. Have the town crier stand out every evening and ring his bell and announce things. I don't know, but.
I think, Tom, to that point, I think that, a more visible kiosk down by the town hall in which people can see, because they drive into Somersworth and come back on a daily basis almost, for a majority of people. So I think that if we had some way of developing or implementing a better kiosk that is visible to the populace as they drive by, I think it would have a greater impact.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree partially, but also people are complaining that they don't come into town every day, so they don't get to see all these things. And it's just, you know, they're blaming us because they didn't stay informed about what's going on in town. And I think the best option has been actually James came up with a great system to inform people through text message of any changes to the town if they sign up for it and stuff like that. I think that's the best option that we have right now. But, you know, people that, you know, they're not gonna, if they're not interested now, then they're not gonna be interested later. They just want to complain that we didn't tell them. You know, there's plenty of people that found out about it and then still didn't go vote.
Right.
We have
And that's true, but, you know, and the school has a wonderful system of notifying parents as well through their automated voicemail messaging system and things of that nature. I think we've talked about that before, but I mean, that would be another option to canvas out there, because obviously people are busy and it's only, those things are important to people when it's relative to them. I don't think there was a lot of visibility on this per se, but I think that perhaps if we had the ability to send a voicemail or a text or something, with the type of technology we have today, people there's no excuse, you know. And I think we'll get some of that regardless of whatever we choose to do or whatever we implement. There will be those people who say, I didn't know.
Right.
And that's going to happen every single time. But I think that if, in today's day and age, with the technology available to us, there's got to be a cost-effective way to canvass our residents, and more than likely probably through texting of some sort or voice. That's just, you know, a thought process that maybe we could think about moving down the road.
We've talked about a kiosk.
Texting
and,
or email through the town website, but there is no one size fits all. Every warrant is posted at the transfer station, the post office, the library, outside town hall at the bulletin board, and inside town hall. People who were in town hall said they didn't see it. Well, you're not going to see it if you don't look for things. So, you know, it's always physically posted. We started talking about this election on September 22nd through the Board of Selectmen. Best way to find out what's happening, check the agendas. So there's no election that we're going to get everybody to know about it. Presidential election, we had a 67% voter participation. You would have thought that was higher, but it wasn't. Yeah, we had 4,000 votes, but we have 6,600 registered voters. So, you know, that puts it into perspective a little bit. But we're trying, James and I are trying. I've gotten a lot of feedback. So we'll try to boost notification for people in any way that we can. Electronic sign, I know I've been asking for that for 4 years.
Yep, we've been after it for 4 years. And
Yeah.
You know,
$25,000 to $30,000 investment.
So, but, you know, anybody can call and say, you know, when's the next election, and with suggestions of how we can get the word out. Because it is a problem, and, you know, we try to work on it, but we'll continue to work on it.
All right. Thank you. That brings us to our next order of business is acceptance as James Way as a public right-of-way.
This was a subdivision, small subdivision that was done quite a few years ago. It's when you had a public works director, John St. Pierre, who was an engineer. He was part of that process. Robert and I and Jody, the public works director, went out and looked at this road. It's been well ditched, and the road, there's a circle that you go through, so you can drive in and drive right out. The quality of the road is good. My recommendation is to put it before the voters and let them see if they want to accept it as a public road. And that's what the owner is requesting.
Dave, does it meet all the requirements for us accepting it as a public road?
Yes, it does.
Okay, because nothing in the documentation I had said anything about, yeah, it meets.
It meets, it's the right width, and the pavement has been there for a while and it still looks pretty good, so it's a good indication that it was built right. The owner assures me that it was, and John doesn't really recall as well, but I think he stands by it that it was okay, so.
It's documented.
What happens
in-
if
It
we
is
take as
documented.
a public way? Do we own that road at that point?
It has to go, if you, as a board, decide to put it on the warrant in June, it will go before the voters as a warrant article, and they have to accept it as a public right-of-way. We do have,
But,
go ahead.
yeah, but then does the town then own that road?
We own that road.
Yes.
Yes. So we'll be responsible for plowing it, any maintenance it requires.
Can I talk? Can I say
Yeah.
something?
James is gonna step to the podium
Hey,
for a
it's
minute.
James again. This has been a topic of interest for a while for me. And we actually have language in our ordinance where we're not taking over any more of these cul-de-sacs. In this example was Mr. Gendron, I believe.
Yep.
And there's a few others that have been in existence before, and they were under pretty much the understanding that the town would take over these roads. There's probably 3 or 4 more in the town that have been in the works. But after a few of these, the town would only take over certain roads that meet certain connectivity standards that are more useful to the town.
No dead ends.
Yeah, no, that's something that we worked on a couple years ago. Is it's really been one of my pet peeves is the town accepting all these little roads and these small developments. And as James said, is we changed the ordinance a while back, 2 years ago, I think now, and is not to do that. But as he said, some of these roads were built to the standards that the town required at the time, with the understanding that they would get put on the warrant. So I don't have a problem with putting this one on. Whether the people vote to accept it or not, that's going to be up to the populace, to vote on that. But yeah, from now on we had said that we were only going to do roads if they interconnect with other roads. So any other comments, questions?
So are we saying that this particular road is being grandfathered, so to speak?
I would, I would say, yeah, it is because when it went before the planning board, it was developed with everything in mind of it being accepted as a town, or at least being put before the people as a town road. So I remember when it was being built, I believe the contractor was Steve Morrill that was actually doing the excavation. I remember when it was being built, and I remember the way it was done, and it all seemed to be done by standards. So.
And John was pretty adamant about that being
Yeah.
right. So.
Well, I feel the same way, Tom. I don't have any objection as long as it meets and was built with the specified requirements at the time, with the intent that it be accepted as a public way. I'm not sure if there's any housing on there at the moment, but I'm sure eventually there will be, and those are taxpayers, so.
There's about,
Taxpayers have a right to have their roads.
James, 4 or 5?
Yeah, I know there's a few.
There's 4 or 5 houses there already.
Yeah,
Are there? Okay.
there's
Nice
all right.
homes.
several houses and several empty lots still, I believe. So,
Okay.
do we have a motion to?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion?
Nope.
Not, I'll go through the roll. Is Ken?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And myself is yes. Right? That brings us to a food truck permit. And it says small on my thing. I don't know what that exactly means, but this is for
Paul is the owner.
lobster
It's not
on the
the
go.
food truck that's small, it's their name.
Okay, it's the smallest name of the owners. Okay. I didn't get that far on it, I guess. Who can give me some information on this?
Yeah, so I guess it was Mr. Small. He owned, I think it was a lobster restaurant in York, and I think he sold his business, or was just trying to downsize, and he wants to bring lobster food trucks, and under the mobile vending ordinance, it just requires select board approval. So he has
the lunch truck is like a regular job site truck. It's going to go from job site to job site. Is that it?
I think he's gonna have. I think there's a few locations on Route 4 that he'll be at.
So we'd be going from business to business. Any questions from the board?
One question, Tom. Looking at the permit, it says state license, but it doesn't say whether the license is approved from the state or not. Well, I'm just not sure how that works.
Business year round. Yeah, I have no idea.
Do we have to verify their license, or is that just, we verify the permit and then they still have to comply with all the state rules?
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. No, we could impose a condition that they provide a state license before opening. Because it can be a catch-22 sometimes. They sometimes need like local approval before they get state approval.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're going to be on Route 4, Mark. They're going to be stopping by your office. You getting some lobster for lunch, are you?
Beautiful.
All right. Is any further discussion? We have a motion to accept.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Without further discussion, they'll go through the roll. Is Ken?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Ed?
Absolutely, yes.
And myself is a yes. Thank you. It brings us to the old fire station, CMP. Mr. Manager.
Mr. Manager, I was contacted by somebody from CMP. They have a major renovation going on in where they usually have their trucks parked. They're trying to find spots where they could leave their trucks and get in and out while this project they have going is done, until it's done. I think it's only for the winter months, maybe 2 or 3 months. I talked to Chief Plant. He doesn't have any issues. We're still heating it, and we still have water and sewer. So I don't see an issue with it. They're just going to basically leave them in there until they need them. So I think they want to know what we charge for rent. And I have not a clue what the square footage costs are, and I'm going to rely on Mr. Pendergast to maybe give me an idea, because you rent buildings once in a while. So what would be the fair price to do something like that?
The CMP,
Yep.
are they gonna heat it, or we have to keep heating it?
No, we're going to keep heating it, but so we want to make sure we cover the costs for that. So between the water and heat, it's around $500 a month, according to our finance office. So
Say $1,500 a month.
okay, all right,
I have no idea, so.
yeah, that sounds fair, considering things are pretty darn expensive around here for rentals. So
Right.
okay,
Any further questions for the town manager?
Maybe ask what they're offering, and then
Yeah.
if it's more than 1,500, so be it, you know?
Yeah.
Hopefully they're
That's
not
another
watching
idea, too.
tonight.
That's a better idea, I like that.
He's actually, Mr. LaJoy.
Dennis.
Yeah,
I mean,
Dennis.
yeah.
Probably too late now, I'm sure
Yeah.
somebody's watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll get back, told him I'd get back to him tomorrow, so I will do that tomorrow. And we'll at least have a place they can keep their trucks and we can pay for the heat, so.
All right, continuing on, we have no quitclaim deeds, no abatements, no second public comment. We do have an executive session. Before we get to that, I'll bring up do anybody have any other business and non-agenda items they want to bring up? No, if not,
And if you haven't seen, I just want to make one
Okay.
comment. BCTV put together an absolutely fabulous documentary on the Prime site, and it's called The Old Town, New Village. And it's on YouTube now, so all you have to do is go on the computer and look. It's an amazing documentary, and I commend them, and it really represents us well, which is exciting.
Good.
Yep. So
Excellent.
take a look.
all right. I'm going to make a motion that we go into executive session under Title I, subsection 405-6C for economic development. I will say that we'll be taking no votes afterwards, so we will be ending broadcast before we go into the executive session. And when we come back, like I said, we will be not taking any actions. So do we have a second?
Okay.
As I'll go through the roll, is Ken,
Yes.
Noah,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
and myself is yes. All right, thank you, everybody, and just give us a few minutes to get off the air, and we'll go into the executive session.
See you in the morning, Patty.